Hello. Yes, welcome to another session that marks the end of the 16 days of activism as we connect. Hello, nice to see you.
Thank
yes, it was nice meeting you during my visit to Egypt last year, World Youth Forum. And it's nice connecting once again and also learning alongside you. We are waiting for Alvin to join as he is going to be part of this as well. Other members will be watching via Facebook, others are on YouTube. So it's live. We're already live on our social media platforms as we share the second dimension, special for Heba. She's going to be presenting on how best can we keep motivated amidst COVID-19 as young leaders. And you know that during this pandemic, there are a lot of issues or information that has been trending all around the globe, including the ongoing tension in different countries in line with electoral processes, be it Uganda, which is also preparing for their own upcoming presidential elections, including those who are actually yearning to join different measures or different offices. So I remember on 25th of November, we released a media presser concerning the 16 days of activism, which of course looks at the UN resolution of 1991, which recognizes the 16 days of activism in the quest to advocate against gender-based violence. Of course, we understand that this campaign takes place every year, starting 25th of November, and aims at, of course, eliminating the violence against women, children, as well as the men, because some families are actually now looking at their husbands as a problem, or the women are now the chiefs of the homes due to feminist activities where women have, of course, gained power more than the men, and they look at themselves as the superiors of their homes. So some of these cases have been, of course, witnessed in some of the communities we work with, and it's a great challenge to the upcoming fathers or daughters, where they have assumed, of course, tools of engagement, and the husbands are actually left out from, also discussing with their husbands on what exactly they can do different. And if we are to engage meaningfully, each for equal, and also advocating for gender equality for all the gender species, be it animals, because they also have life. And when it comes to the young people, the children of tomorrow, who are the future generations, we have seen domestic violence cases hyper in most of the communities because their fathers have now enough time to spend with their children, and there is no way they can avoid maybe doing homework for them like how they used to do, which can no longer happen today because they only look at what is happening right now as a challenge to them.
Yeah.
As civil societies around the globe, and also those young people who are actually causing change, me inclusive, is that we try as much as we can, because so many people out there, they already think that young people can't actually do anything. But remember, young people have the energy, have the courage, the charisma to perform if they are given the opportunity to do so. So it's not a challenge that young people actually still belittled, even though we are always advocating for, equal presentation of young people in various positions, but they are still underlooked. That we shouldn't forget. And I'm happy that today we have one of the amazing people that we have met in my lifetime. She's a leadership coach, and she has a lot in her docket to share with us. I can see more members joining in.
and we'll be happy to, of course, have everyone in. Then we'll be able to kickstart and make this one of the amazing platforms. Yes. Let's begin with a self-introduction as we preside to the next level of the engagement. Yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the amazing introduction. You tackled so many important points, and I agree with all you have mentioned. Gender-based equality, gender-based violence is a very critical issue, and it doesn't affect only women, like you said. It only affects men as well. So as a start, you wanted me to introduce myself. So my name is Hiba Asim, and I'm Egyptian. I'm a leadership trainer and a youth activist. I have a diploma in crisis and conflict management in Africa from the Faculty of African Postgraduate Studies in Cairo University. Within this program, I focused my studies, postgraduate studies, on the African conflicts, the post-conflicts reconstruction and development, preventive diplomacy, early warning system, and refugees in Africa and the role of the African Union towards refugees. In addition to that, I have a postgraduate diploma, another one, in the international negotiations. Also, I'm a trainer of the first batch of African Presidential Leadership Program, APLP, at the National Training Academy in Egypt. Also, I am a steering committee member at World Youth Forum, in where we met together last year. World Youth Forum is an international event held annually in Egypt to gather youth from all over the world to discuss and share thoughts and insights about the recent hot issues in the world. Moreover, I'm a winner of the Young African Leaders Award last year for outstanding visionary leadership and dedication to the community and national building, provided by the African Youth Architects organization in Gambia. I was representing Egypt and North African region as well. And lately, I have finished the pre-deployment training of the African Union Youth Volunteer Corps, Cohort 10. This is almost all the things I have been doing.
Yes. It's a pleasure, and I'm exceedingly humbled and very honored to share a platform with you today, as more members are actually asking for the link to join. So I've been sharing with them to join. Others will be watching us live from YouTube as well as Facebook. So thank you so much for sharing that very, very packaged introduction. I'm very, very humbled to have learned most of them actually face to face. And when it comes to the virtual connection, I feel like we are too close sitting on a round table, discussing and disseminating some of the facts that are actually concerning the lives of the new generation amidst the new era. Some of the things that we proposed, if you allow me to share before you come in, is that during our presser, we released some of the items, the key issues that we would really love to see happen during and after the 16 days of activism. It's actually always a challenge where we have been seeing most of the discussions ongoing, but remember we have those that are actually into the grassroots work, where they look at how best can they, improve, walking the talk, where we see them presiding over discussions that actually concern someone at the grassroots. But later on, these very engagements end on paper. So we believe by building a platform for all stakeholders to deliberate on gender strategic measures for the promotion of sustainable GBV prevention mechanisms is one way how we can promote the lives of those from the grassroots, because they are still left out, and only a few are able, actually they are only listened to when there is need to inquire something, or they are looking maybe now because we're in electoral process. So they are back to the community, meaning now they feel like they have the time to go back to their voters. But remember, these very voters are the taxpayers. And when they are into the electoral process, a lot of issues are happening and they are not covered. So we feel like establishing the gender-based prevention evidence research and baseline information was another key instrument that we had to expound on. And during this lockdown, we've been able to, of course, carry out some of the baseline information, collecting it into one collective document that we believe at the end of all these webinars that we are concluding very soon and incorporating all the information, we will be able to share a conclusive report that can guide now the forces in initiating some of the ventures at the grassroots. And we look forward to break the silence and break the barriers towards gender-based prevention in different communities, not only in Uganda, Africa at large, and the world at large. In some of the webinars that we have been conducting, we have seen different communities from different dimensions of the world connecting and sharing the experience. As a reminder from as a recap from the first webinar that we had today, the first session, is that we shared concerning how have other nations been working toward the 16 days of activism, how they plan their days, and what is the experience with preventing the spread of COVID-19 amidst this kind of new norm, live with it or die with it. So we look forward to learn with you, and the floor is open to you now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And consider me the first receiver of your document, because I'm so eager to learn from what you have been conducted for all the webinars. Let's start all over again. And hello, everyone. I'm sending you warm greetings from Egypt. And it's a great honor for me to be here with you today in the closing ceremony of the Gender-Based Violence Prevention Forum. Actually, I have been following most of the presentations, and the speakers tackled various important points indeed, and their presentations were so insightful. But as for me today, I'd like to highlight a new form of gender-based violence in Africa, which is the online one. There was research conducted which addressed that 75% of women interviewed reported suffering from mental stress and anxiety due to their experience of online violence, especially in the COVID-19 era. You know, the COVID-19 era has, forced us into our homes and onto our phones. People around the world are quickly getting with the programs and moving their businesses and personal lives online, right? In Africa, women experience harassment, doxing, non-consensual sharing, and other forms of online gender-based violence, but a lack of firm baseline data has made it difficult to determine, the full extent to which women are threatened online. Online gender-based violence refers to targeting individuals based on their sexual or gender identity, or by enforcing harmful gender norms, including behaviors such as stalking, surveillance, bullying, sexual harassment, trafficking, defamation, hacking, hate speech, and exploitation, and other controlling behaviors, some women receive threats online. Can you imagine that? Others suffer from, insults, hashtags, and unfortunately, in most of the cases, the victims do not know the identity of the perpetrator or found him to be a stranger. And it's difficult to ascertain the primary perpetrator. Sadly enough, the online gender-based violence not only affects women on the online sphere, but it has a negative impact also on mental health, including depression and anxiety and fear that follows women offline at home, school, work, and other social spaces. And this is exactly why we have to address the online gender-based violence, because it exists within a context similar to what happens in real life. It's just as destructive as offline violence. As we now live in a virtual society, and offline violence has extended to online, which makes it easier for people to commit violence without consequences, right? Women are the main targets of online violence, especially women with voices like female journalists, activists, and politicians. And to be objective, and based on what you have said before, men are also harassed online. But when women are the target, online harassment quickly descends into sexualized hate or threats. Online gender based violence is an overt expression of the deeply rooted gender inequalities in our society. Um, okay, then, but what we have to do to deal with this critical challenge? I personally believe that we need public awareness, even within our close, circles, because most of the people think that online violence is not a big deal. Don't take it serious. People need to understand this is real. It happens and it has negative consequences, like the offline one. And sometimes it moves from online to offline sphere. Also, it's highly recommended to conduct training law enforcement personnel on gender sensitive digital safety so they are able to address complaints of online gender based violence and to provide timely technical assistance and support to women who do choose to report. And this takes us to another dimension of the gender-based violence, which is escalating increasingly in the era of COVID-19. I believe that the African women face two pandemics right now, unfortunately, of course. In the last month, as the coronavirus has spread across the world, African countries have registered a surge in cases of domestic violence and sexual violence, which has provoked public outrage. And to be honest, African countries are not unique in this pattern of increased gender-based violence during the pandemic. The UN has warned of a shadow pandemic as countries across the world have reported a spike in domestic violence. And the reality, however, is that violence against women and girls is hardly a shadow pandemic. The term shadow minimizes the consistent and harrowing violence African women and girls experience on a daily basis, unfortunately. And to address violence against women and girls, African governments must first acknowledge its historic existence and tackle it as a matter of national emergency. And if we have a close look, we will find that what the present crisis highlights across the African continent is the ineffectiveness of past measures. It seems the little band-aids that existed in normal pre-pandemic times have been ripped off, and the perpetual state of violence that African women experience can no longer be ignored like that. And the women survivors of gender-based violence often find themselves between a rock and a hard place, between a societal system that silences them and a state that constantly fails to value their lives. And globally, 30% of women experience physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Women do not always, report their experiences of violence because of deep-rooted barriers, including fear of stigma and shame, financial barriers, lack of awareness of available services, fear of revenge, lack of law enforcement action, and attitudes surrounding violence as a normal component of life. Containing COVID-19 has now become the primary focus of governments, with little attention paid to gender-based violence, and economic pressures have limited alternatives for victims of violence. COVID-19 related restrictions have forced survivors to coexist with their abusers, and justice systems offer little hope for the punishment of perpetrators. And the long-term impact of COVID-19 on women and girls in all their diversities depends on what responses African states and communities put in place regarding gender-based violence. States must acknowledge and link the historical male dominance to gender-based violence and work towards eliminating the hurdles to women's right to a dignified life. Governments also need to enforce legal rights and put it in place, enabling policies and regulations that drive progress toward gender-based violence. And here I can say that regional and international organizations like the African Union and the United Nations can play an important role in monitoring, enforcing such laws and regulations. And Excuse me, now I am talking now to men. Men are the ones who hold power. They are the ones who have created a system that gives men power. They are the ones who stay in power, and they are the only ones who need to share the power for more productivity, to give the women more space to defend their legit rights. Women are your sisters, mothers, wives, partners, daughters, nieces, aunts, cousins, co-workers, and friends. They have hopes and beautiful dreams of themselves, their families, communities, their future, and the world. They don't deserve to suffer like this. You as men, like you said, have to be advocates for gender-based violence because it's also a key to tackling social norms and enhancing women's voice and agency. But on the other hand, we cannot only wait for the government. We have to start with ourselves, like you have mentioned before. We have to take actions and help those who need our assistance by sharing knowledge and experiences. And I'll tell you something from my personal experience. During the crisis of COVID-19, I started to give online lectures of leadership skills to benefit my young African fellows on a voluntary basis. I am now a lecturer at several African online leadership schools and institutions. In these programs, I tried to merge my studies of peace and security with leadership. I have trained up to like 800 young African leaders across Africa to be leaders and peacemakers in their communities. I also raised the awareness against terrorism, polarization, and gender discrimination within my training programs and webinars. Now, most of my time is dedicated for volunteering because the society needs us. Our people need our help. And we still young enough. We have the passion, we have the energy to serve our communities, especially in hard times like this. So from here, I am asking you all the people and all the young people who are following us, to start thinking about what qualities you have, what skills you own, and how to transfer this knowledge to others who couldn't be lucky enough to get their share of being well educated and well trained like us. It costs you nothing to conduct an online talk or discussion like this one, right? To mentor those who need you to enlighten their way, to your neighbor who doesn't have internet access and needs somebody to listen to her and open her mind for the real world she deserves. I'm sure if we continue doing that, our societies will get better, and accordingly, we will see the Africa we always dream and we always want. Thank you so much.
Is indeed the Africa we want is supposed to be constructed by all of us. And we are the ones to make the Africa we want a better place for those who watch us and for those that actually see us move through the ladders of development step by step. There is a question that has been asked that, yes, we understand there is ongoing tension in the lives of women because there are some of, for example, in Uganda during the lockdown, we witnessed some of the women who are actually giving out their daughters to men, angry men, if I may say, is that some of us, we are blessed to be champions of women economic empowerment or women empowerment in particular, because we believe that if every woman is given the opportunity to turn their worries into their strength, then we will be able to have a community that really focuses on empowering those that are actually weak and also empowering those that we look at as marginalized in the communities. So someone has asked, what has been some of the challenges that you have faced as a woman during some of the tasks that you've accomplished, yet there are those who can also do the same but don't have the opportunity? Yes, please unmute yourself.
Okay, to be honest, being a woman is a challenge itself in our communities, and we cannot neglect. Can you hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. So I was saying that being a a woman is a challenge in itself when to not only the national and the regional and international community. One of those challenges that you are a woman, you have to stay at home to get married, give birth to children, raise them, and die in peace. Okay, but because this is the mindset we have in our communities, unfortunately. But they overlooked that to be a good mother and a good wife, you have to be well educated, and you have to build your self-awareness of what is going on out there, right? So this is one of the major challenges I faced. Um, Also, the not equal, opportunities in work, in even attending conferences and so on. The limit restrictions on the women participation has also affected my career and my self improvement. But I'll tell you that if you insist to be a part of whatever you want, to achieve your dream, to be, a good and add value to your community. It will not be easy, but you have to focus. You have to insist on what you want. You have to invest in yourselves, gain more skills, read more. Networking is very important in that particular issue. You have to get to know more people around the world, to be open to them, to know what challenges are facing them, like we are doing right now. I am here in Egypt and you there in Uganda, and there are so many people who are following us from all over the world. So this, we have to invest in that. We have to build on that. We have to use the advantage of being communicated like that, and know how to go further, how to take the next step, how to have like a collective work in order to invest in our communities nationally, regionally, and internationally.
Indeed, we have to, from the recap that I've made in form of summary, is that all of us, everyone, as it's the responsibility of me and you to ensure that the community that we live in are actually a better place, a safer place for everyone to live in with ease. Because it is not our one man's effort to ensure that the peace that we really want to see, or the lives of those that actually we are trying to empower, are left to those who are actually don't even matter to them, but rather a collective effort for everyone to ensure that the well-being of one is the responsibility of everyone. I recall while in Egypt, the way how people, interconnect with one another as young people who are actually brought together. Actually, this was the very moment when we were in Egypt. I remember last year. And it's the same that now we are trying to do the same platforms for those who actually never had the opportunities to preside, to witness how young people should come together, unite, and be part of the greater change that they really want to see. Because young people are not violent, but what is actually happening today is that some of our fathers, whom we take as our mentors, are actually taking young people as weak or as violent in all things that they do. But to many, we are not violent. So it's why we try to ensure that also young people can adopt the same modes of working, and also ensure that their fellows also try to observe the changes that they are making in their communities. As a leadership coach, what are some of the amazing messages that you'd love to share with the young people in preventing violence, in actually starting from their homes? Because we have seen so many cases that are coming from the grassroots communities, and they are bought out by, let's say, the perpetuators, instead of being heard in courts of law, but rather they end and you don't even find what happens next. So as a leadership coach, what could be your message to young people who are actually soon becoming fathers or who are already fathers?
Okay, first of all, we have all to believe that every change starts within ourselves. So maybe we are, and it's not something to be ashamed of. To maybe some of us are raised in homes that witnessed gender-based violence, but we don't know that this happened, or we don't realize that this is a gender-based violence. As we now are talking, and we know what is the gender-based violence, we have to start within ourselves. If it's not in our homes, we have to go out to the neighborhood. I said earlier that um, there are people out there, they don't have access to the internet, they cannot hear us here talking. We are, at some point, we are just talking to each other, and we are, yeah, sharing experience, sharing ideas, but the the victims, not all of them can hear us, and they cannot learn what we have learned. So this is exactly what we have to do. We have to go out in our neighborhoods, to our neighbors, to who we know that they are witnessing gender-based violence, to talk with them nicely and in a very, logical way. You don't have to interfere with force, because force brings force. It will not solve the problem. You have to just sit, to talk, to listen to them. Maybe all they have all they need is to how to prevent what they are suffering from. If there are like hotlines in your communities that they can call, if there are some lawyers that they can help them in their cases, you can refer them to those lawyers. This is exactly what we have to do, because we have not to only sit here and talk. We have to go out there and help people before it's getting too late. This is what I really believe in.
Okay, so it is very nice, and indeed, we have to utilize the hotline that have been put in place. We have been joined by Sarah. Please, can you unmute yourself? Since this is a ladies forum, I'm the only man in the house. Yes, please unmute yourself and say something to us. Okay, as we wait for you to sort out, it's a pleasure indeed that, of course, we have so many hotmails, hotlines that are actually working as a connectivity between the rural communities and also to the leaders or to the agencies that are actually trying to put sanity into communities. It's indeed a great opportunity to see everything work. And indeed, having such a kind of lines really help to respond to such a kind of emergencies. But we cannot forget that there are still challenges in accessibility when it comes to mobile ownership, especially to our women in the communities. Being a feminist, despite of me being a man, is that women feel free to share their experience with those that think like them, feel their pain. And whenever we share with them this kind different challenges that they face, they already say that, yes, I own a phone in my home, but this phone is owned by my husband. It means that even if the husband performs something which is violent to her, she will not be able to say it out, because she says, I respect my husband. So anything he does, it means I can't say anything. It's really a challenge to some of them that they are not exposed to this kind of discussion. So what we are trying to do is to expose them by organizing them into smaller savings groups, because those who are already organized are easy to be impacted than those who are actually scattered. And yes, please. Hello, Sarah.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
I
Okay,
just I
you're
just got a
welcome.
little bit late.
It's fine, and we are happy that, of course, you have been able to join us. So we've been sharing on what are some of the challenges that have been faced by women in different communities, and what are some of the approaches that have been put forward by your agency, and also where you are in ensuring that women have equal rights. And remember, we are in generation equality where everyone has to live for someone else rather than living for yourself. Kindly introduce yourself and then share your experience.
Okay, I'm Sarah Deval, the founder from Cameroon. I have an organization, Hope of Africa, where we work at women's empowerment. Actually, in order to curb the gender-based violence, we've discovered that I try to empower the women economically, because when a woman is not empowered economically, she tends to support or contain some of the violence that have been meted on her because of the aspect that she cannot take care of herself. So when a woman is economically stable, there are times that she can say no and she means the no. But when it's your husband, as you rightly said, if it's your husband that has the phone, and because you desperately need the phone, no matter what he does to you, you have to keep quiet and accept it because you don't want him to take the phone from you. So you tend to support and take some of these violences, and then you keep because you don't want to speak out. Because you don't want to lose. Now, I will try to build also the self-esteem of the women, because the African culture makes it that the woman is looked upon as a second class or as a subordinate, as somebody that does not have a say or a life of her own. So we try to rebuild their self-esteem to make them know that they are women and they are of equal rights. There's a kind of equity, but that does not stop them from giving the respect that their husbands deserve. So we build their self-esteem, we build them economically by we give those we train them on a little skills, the training that can skill acquisitions that can generate income, and then some of them we support them with a startup capital, and we do a follow-up to ensure that these capitals that have been given to them, they are being used appropriately, and it is generating some income that can increase their productivity and give them a sustainable livelihood. And COVID also has come in and has hampered a little bit of our work, but that has not, we have not relented in what we are doing. So we are still working on it. So it's a work in progress. So we are still on the field. Thank you.
Wow, it is indeed a nice engagement, and I'm happy to have learned about what you're doing in Cameroon. Indeed, everyone around the world is doing something meaningful, and we believe that what you're doing is actually adding a stone, or because a house, when you're beginning to construct a house, you don't just wake up in the morning and you find it at the rooftop. So we begin by building the foundation first, and also ensuring that the foundation is firm. In the next 5 years, from the engagements you're carrying out today, and because we understand that if women are economically empowered and they have what it takes, they're also empowered to stand up and speak for their rights, leadership skills. It's very important and very paramount that a woman can do the same work that actually others are allocating to men. Yet we have so many of them who are too lazy that they can't even do anything. And those that only await for their, like, for example, for husbands who stop their wives to work, we have seen so many of them in communities, because you married to me, so I have to ensure that you don't work at the end of the day. But remember, there are other needs, for example, when it comes to sexual reproductive health services. The wife or the daughter cannot discuss these kind of issues with their father. And because they only trust their mom. But today, in the trend of right now, the new norm, we have more of young mothers who actually don't even understand the growth of their children. And they don't understand that advanced childhood effects, the world that you brought into, if you're not well prepared, you will not be able to live a happy life. A happy life doesn't mean to have money or being rich, something like that, but rather to live a dignified life that respects every human being, including the ones that are at home. For example, here we've seen some of the young people who are actually raping their grandmothers at home. And is it something that we really want to see happen? Yeah, absolutely true. A young boy raping a grandma of 70 years, 90 years.
From where did he get that mindset? From where?
So I'm also trying to ask myself whether he is also a man to be or is trying to become a father next time.
Yeah.
And we saw some cases where a mom is actually giving out her daughter, a 9-year-old daughter, to men just because she wants to earn a living. So what I asked her one question: why did you give out yourself instead of giving out your daughter? Just the world is getting crazy. We don't know what is happening. Every day something new is happening. But I believe that if we try to create awareness across the globe and also raising up to ensure that everyone's voice unites and creates a common voice, we will be able to have a better world. So if I take you back to the growth of the child, despite of us currently having the youngest generation, where now the mothers are actually very young. So as a mother, or because doesn't mean you should have a child for you to become a mother. It means you're a mom as long as you're mentoring someone outside there. You're already a mom to that person. So as a mom, what could be your advice to young mothers outside there? Yes.
Okay, it's kind of hard. This question is so hard because I have been mentoring so young women. Okay, especially in communities that have this belief that women have to be so restricted and not to be exposed to to the world. They are asking them. Their parents are so afraid to let them know about the ongoing issues and everything. So they come to me and ask me, what can I do? I want to have like networks out there and know more people and learn from them and interact with them and see the world, because I cannot see the world from where I stay. She cannot be exposed to a world when she is just stuck in home. So my advice to her is just to listen to her parents, as long as they are advising her, because they are like protecting her on their own way. So she has to understand that not letting her going out is not a punishment. It's just a kind of protection, but we don't have the same mentality. So we have to get closer to their mentality and acting upon that. So okay, you follow your parents' instructions. You focus on your study, and at the same moment, you can use your free time to network through internet. Internet costs nothing now for all of us. So like we are having now, you can attending conferences, online conferences. You can just Google whatever question in your head. Just Google it and read it from reliable sources, and know what's going on out there, and have the answer of all your questions. And this is is called self-improvement, self-awareness. So when you have this ability, and when you are able to do that, you can mentor on also some other girls that don't have the access to internet, don't have the access to, or they are shy to share anything with anybody. So like you said that women are more likely to share their fears with the ones who experienced the same situation, because we feel for each other. You know, women are so emotional. So
True.
when it comes to something harmful to us, and something which hurt our feelings, we tend to share it with the one who will feel for us. Like, she will be so emotional, she start to cry when she is telling you her story, and you will cry upon her crying as a woman. So you have to feel for them. You have to feel their struggles, to feel their suffer, and to calm her down, and don't let her to drown in the darkness, because this kind of feeling is killing every moment. It's so dangerous, and we haven't let these people to suffer like that. So for all the girls and women, you have to stand by others. You have to support each other, no matter how small the action you are going to take, but just uh, show caring, show support. And this is all it takes.
Yes, I recently received a report from one of our partners. I was once actually mentored under their program. Um, for example, I think we have a new member who has just joined us. Mary, can you kindly unmute and say something? Since we are discussing issues of national concern, looking at the dimension of gender-based violence amongst children, women, and girls. And I happen to represent the men who are outside there. Yes, please, Mary, introduce yourself and share something. Yes, please.
So yeah, I'm Mary. I'm Mary Motori. I'm from Kenya. Well, I'm a recent global youth ambassador for gender-based violence, and should I say it's quite a new venture for me, if so to say it.
It
Yeah,
would be nice
and
if you show a little
yeah,
bit of your face for people to see you.
there's a bit of a
Someone,
blackout right now,
oh,
but I'm working on it. Yes.
okay, please do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You are still sharing.
Oh yeah, I'm saying there's a bit of a blackout, but I'm working on the video part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have seen, of course, different online violence against women and girls raising high and high day by day. And a few are able to respond to this kind of vices that are actually happening in the communities. You know, social media is an open space where everyone comes and go at the end of the day. And the usage, if it's not put into the right use, we have seen so many cases arising. And I was very happy to read through this report, Arise and Shine, of course, a woman's development magazine published by ACFOD, combating online violence against women and girls. I was reading through some of the facts that are here. How best can we fight online abuse is something that I have tried to invest in and learn how best all of us we can fight online abuse. Remember, we have also cyber attacks. That is also there. It's not a GBV case, but online abuse can be bullying, someone looking abusing you even because of your size, your height, your religion, your culture. But if we try to live in a world where no one hates or neither holds a grudge, it is something that I'm trying to disseminate and ensure that at least at the end of the day, we have something shared, a little bit of it. So what could be your ideas on how best we can solve abuse? Shouldn't it be up to the victim or to the survivors? Who should be blamed for such kind of cases?
Okay, no one to blame, but the the perpetrators. Okay, because and at times, you know what? At times the victims share some, responsibility, because they are not bold enough to face and to report what they are being through. Okay, so I believe that whenever we witness or we have this kind of situation, you don't have to run, and you just to leave everything and leave the online platform and run away and cry. You cannot afford to do that. You just you can report his profile or his whatever personal account. You can mention him as one who is harassing you or threatening you or whatever. Social media is a great power now, but we can use it both ways, in a good way or in a bad way. So we can use it as an alert, a warning system. We can use it like, please, girls, take care of this guy. He's doing so, and he's doing so, and he's doing so. And once you make sure that he is doing that, and you be certain, sure, 100% sure that he is really doing that, it's gonna be like spread all over the communities, because we have groups, we have different social media platforms, and everything is spread so quickly. So this is how we can react towards these things. But we cannot just leave and block the person and just, it's okay, thank God I blocked him, no harm. No, it's not going like that. It has to be like, you have to be, you have to take an action, not to be like negative person, just I am in the safe zone, because he is going to hurt another people, another women like you. And maybe they don't have the courage to face this situation. So we have to support each other. We have to raise the awareness. We have to spread the word of how to defend each other's right and support each other.
Yes, that is very nice and very true, especially towards the young generation, which is the biggest problem which I have seen is is it excitement about social media. People are excited with the new technology. Many WhatsApp groups share different things, be it Facebook, but to some of us, I believe in sharing information that really looks at changing someone at the end of the day, or helping someone move out of the anxiety that they always have. And of course, we also look at some of the other challenges, which look at maybe ignorance of the law, despite of the existing laws concerning online work and any other thing. Maybe the regulators, we try to ensure that at least at the end of the day, those kind of excitements at least minimal, to the extent that we do not interfere with other people's privacy. We have different types of online violence against women and girls, as well as men, because not only the girls. For example, you may look at the different friend requests that you receive per day or in a month. How many are genuine people and how many are not genuine? You realize that the requests that you receive, actually, not all of them are using their real names. They're actually using other people's names in order to, I don't know, whether to acquire a magnitude of friend requests being accepted. But at the end of the day, malice attacks always happen. For example, cyber stalking. I may send you a friend request when I'm using another person's account. You accept, then I do cyber stalking. I talk to you nicely to show that I'm your friend, yet in actual sense I'm not. We have doxing, where I pinpoint you of doing something, which is actually not human. We have trolling, where they start pointing fingers in what you're doing. You, because you're sharing something that someone else doesn't look like they want, because everyone has different wants. We can never tell the tastes of someone, neither you understanding what are the tastes and preferences of your platforms, or why you join those platforms. No one else knows apart from you. We have cyberbullying, where because of what you do or what you're trying to show the world that this is the right way to do, someone else will look at it as bad. Remember, in advocacy, we have different ways how you can pull the haters into supporters, utilizing the opportunities that are presented to you. Then you have hate speeches, where someone talks negative about you instead of sharing positivity that can encourage someone else to move out of that anxiety state. We also have the public shaming. For example, let's say something happened at your workplace and you were not involved in that particular case because you were absent on that day, then it is shared like you're the one who committed it. How do you feel if that such kind of incidents happens? It means your status is lowered, and the public image is also lost at the end of the day. We have bosses who shout at their workers, "You didn't do this, you didn't finish this." But remember, it's not only the bosses, we also have family members who actually want to be made the greatest of all, meaning they don't want you to look at them as small. They want you to look at them as big people. So they want you to kneel down for them and respect whatever decision they make. Now, I shout at you in public. It means even the cleaner, if I tell you, Heba, I didn't finish this work, yet you were supposed to edit all this document. What happened? You know? And the cleaner is listening to this, saying, I'm sorry, I'm going to finish. It means now this cleaner will actually underlook you, say, hey, they shouted at you. Meaning your dignity is lowered, be it your image, despite of you being knowledgeable. Now, intimidation or threats, we have those kind of things. Online violence, where someone intimidates you either to block you or tells you that I'm going now. For example, us who are leading in different civil societies, we suffer a lot. So everyone looks at you like you have everything, you have the money, but they want to dig deeper and see who actually gives you the money. Now, how best can we protect the young generation from such a kind of cases that are raising up? Are online crimes sophisticated or they are duplicated? Share something on that.
Okay. First of all, it has all of these incidents related to the value set you have and how you raised up, because it's a psychological issues. It's not just a reaction to a certain action, because those who are doing that, they always start to do that. They are not reacting, so we cannot defend them and say they are defend themselves, or it's just a reaction, or they are doing that out of anger. No, they are doing that because they believe that they lack something, and the one who they trying to harm or to hurt is better than them. And maybe he is not better than them. Maybe he is also just thinking about that in their mindset. So we have to learn to teach our children how to not to look or overlook people who have something that we don't have. We have to teach them how to be satisfied in all levels, and to know that we all take or have our shares of life equally. I might have money, you might have knowledge. I cannot have the knowledge you have, and you cannot have the money I have. It's just an equal equation. So you have to believe and that you are complete, and neither money, neither possession, neither authority is going to complete you. Because if you feel that you are incomplete, you will be incomplete forever. No matter how gains you take, no matter how money you gain, you will feel that, no, I need more. No, I need that. I need this. And all of these feelings lead us to those kind of people that are, surveilling on public figures, and even not public figures in our communities, within our friends. You can find someone who pretends that he is your best friend, and you are everything to me and everything, and all of a sudden when you get promoted, or when you get bonuses in your work, or when you get his team leader, he just all of a sudden turned out to be your worst enemy ever, and he's planning to destroy you. How can you deal with something like that? It's so harmful. So you have to understand the psychology of those people, and not to pay back in their own way, because if we pay back on their own way, we will become like them, and nothing will resolve. So we have to understand them, we have to talk to them, and in the situation I was mentioned, like he is you are the team leader of your friend, and he not accept that, you can sit with them and tell him that I'm not your boss, I'm just your co-worker, I'm your teammate, and after all, I'm your friend. So, and we have the same motive, and we have the same goal to make this works, whatever this task, it organization, it whatever. So this is how you can deal peacefully with those kind of people, because power and force and violence is not a solution for this kind of situations. It has to be patience, has to be with tolerance. You have to tolerate them, because you cannot just sit and everybody who hurts you or who insults you or do anything harmful to you, you don't have to like wait for everybody to uh, get your revenge from. You will not improve. You have to focus on yourself. So let other people talk, let other people do whatever they want, and you focus on your purpose, you focus on your goal, and go for it. And then they will talk about how successful you are, and they will come around, and they will ask you to regain the relationship and so on. But you will be uh, able to identify how these people is dealing with, and why what is his purpose, and how he is going to deal with you on this based on this experience.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not going to add on anything since everything you have indeed expounded. Can we have Mary to share some ideas on that? Mary, please.
Thank you. I actually agree about 90% of what she mentioned, yeah. And on the sensitizing of individuals, mostly the youth, I think it's a huge factor, because some things we see online, it's because they've been so normalized. They don't even look like it's a big deal. It just looks like it's normal. It happens to people. It's there. It's already it has been there. Why do we have to change it now? Why are we even complaining about it? So yeah, I think the whole idea of first we need to talk about it, make people understand why it's wrong, then now take like actions and initiatives afterwards. So yes, I think the major factor here is to sensitize the youth on these matters, just sharing knowledge online, advocating for the right thing, bringing out scenarios and letting people decide, do you think this is wrong? What is wrong about it? Do you think it's right? um what can be done different about it? So yes, I think we need to uh educate a lot, a lot, a lot concerning these issues, and anything to do with destigmatizing that violence only happens to women. We need to make sure that people know it happens to both sides, bring out stories, and have even possibly have survivors come forward and talk about it. It makes it easier because it will appeal to the emotions of the people. So I will go with a lot of bringing out the awareness. I think that's what's lacking right now, the awareness factor.
Okay, so I have received a question here that we have seen of course, various cases raising up in different communities, be it in Kenya, because we are all in the same country, we are all in the same world, and we always to elongate our ears to listen to what is actually happening in another region, and also what can be done different despite of the ongoing challenges that our communities are facing. When you look at the ongoing increase in early marriages, teenage marriages, where children have been married off, what could be the challenges or the would be solutions to cover these kind of cases that are raising up today, in your own view, Maria?
Okay. So most communities that encourage early marriages, mostly it's either a cultural thing or a poverty situation, where if it's poverty, the family is looking for a way to get the basic needs for themselves. So they decide to sell out their daughter to this wealthy old man in the village, which in this case, wow, it becomes a bit challenging because you're no longer the stakeholders to this situation. It's now we have to decentralize other communities, other organizations, the community itself, the community leaders, the elders there. It becomes a whole uh, taking down the mentality that there's no other alternative to this. Probably that's where we have the district or the community come together to form employment opportunities for the mothers there. I think even strengthening the mothers in this situation is also something to consider. Educating these children instead of giving them out to marriages, because I think we have free primary education here in Kenya. So that's also something they can start on. And when they get to high school, they can have alternative measures for them. Improving the infrastructure in that place is also a factor to consider. So I think it goes down to talking about this, then from there building structures and initiatives to support an enabling environment for these issues not to strive. So I think depending on the community one is in, you need to involve the elders, the community health workers there, and just come up with a structure or a framework to work on this. Yeah, I think that's what I'll go for, because I don't think there's a definitive answer to this. Yeah.
Okay, Heba, what is your say on that? Do you have another opinion?
No, actually, I agree with Mary, and I can add that we can link those people with the, charity organizations and the civil society organization in order to be able to give them like fund or whatever they will need in order to have the basic needs of them until the children or the girl finish her study and she can work, but in the suitable time and the suitable age, and she can earn living for her family, but when she completed her study. So we can link those people with the foundations and with the organization that work for in that scale and in that field. And this is all what we can do, because like she said, it's a cultural thing. And the poverty, we have nothing to do with poverty right now in our hand, because we are not stakeholders, we're not the businessmen, we cannot afford to help financially anybody who come across our road, but we can refer them to those who can help them, whether in a financial way or support, to give them supplies, or there are so many people in our communities that are doing that. So we have to know them and link the two with each other.
Yes, indeed, and that is the way to go. We have seen, of course, someone has asked here, we have seen, of course, increasing early pregnancies in different school-going children. And we have not yet seen what would be the options for these kids. Schools are actually having young mothers right now, and a few are able to respond to those kind of changes. And what could be done different to ensure that these young girls are provided shelter? At our end, we have a partner we're working with in rescuing such a kind of girls who have been in school and currently they are unable to attend school because they are pregnant and ready to give birth. Imagine the youngest is at 9 years of age and she's yet to give birth. I don't know what's wrong with men today in this era. It's unfortunate that some of them actually have opted for suicide in their communities because they are being shamed by their own people, and they are not able actually to live a happy life that really uh, is meaningful at the end of the day. If we are to ensure that these kids have a better life, what could be the option? What could be the lively examples to provide them if they are to live a meaningful life? Of course, some of the challenges is poverty, where they are not able to provide for themselves, and the only hope they have is to start engaging in sexual activities, which has limited their performance, be it at school, because schools are closed, and no one is able to respond. So what could be your advice, or what could be your worry in terms of such a kind of cases that are happening today? Yes.
Okay, this is so hard. This is so hard, and it's so critical. And I believe that to deal with any issue, when any sensitive issue like that, we have to tackle the root causes and deal with them, because um, dealing with the triggers and the surface is not helping. We have to dig deeper into the causes. Poverty, as we said, we don't have anything to do with that personally, but I believe that the awareness, public awareness is key issue to deal with such situations, and the psychological rehab, because those kids, they don't know what they are into. They don't realize what they are going to deal with. And like you said, the one who committed suicide, this is all about psychological mentality and psychological failure state. So she has to get enough psychological and health care services. She has to be aware about what she is going to face after that, because she gets pregnant, and she even doesn't know what to do after that, like how to give birth and how to raise the children, and all of this is new to her, and it's a lot for her to process. So she has to know what to do in that case, and whether it's legal, or it's okay to just um, put this kid, this baby, when she gave birth to him, in certain organization or foundation that could be taking care of him, because she will not be able to take care of kid. She is a kid, so how can she is a kid and take care of a kid? It doesn't make sense. So this is all what we can do. And again, I say that the awareness, as us individuals, go out there and talk to people, talk to the mothers, talk to the parents, and show them other ways, not to sell their children like that, because they are not the products to sell. They are humans, and they have dignity, and um, they will die either ways. So one of them must maybe died when she is giving birth, so as to when she is considered to die from poverty, right? So both ways are harmful. So you cannot put your children in that jeopardy. You cannot do that. That's it.
So thank you for the solidarity message. And
May I add on that? Sorry.
yes, please go ahead.
Yes, she mentioned about creating awareness. I think we can also encourage, since these are teenagers who are maybe out of school during this period, yes, they can engage in community projects or even entrepreneurial practices. For example, they could come up with maths, they can make, or even if you have a talent for artwork, they just we just empower what they already have to be a source of income for them to have like an alternative way of earning money instead of having to sell their bodies for that. Oh yeah, that's number one. Number two, if this if probably already one is pregnant and they don't have anywhere to go, there are safe houses in different communities in Nairobi, or rather safe spaces they could go to. These safe spaces provide mental health care facilities. They provide also health care for them. They also provide the one I went to, they have a library whereby you can still study and continue your studies and finish if you hadn't finished, as well as, again, other stakeholders coming in and actually letting these children go back to school. It shouldn't be discriminated or set against or discouraged from even attending school. They should be allowed to finish school so that I don't know, continuation of generation, it shouldn't be an issue. It has already happened. We can't reverse it. So yeah, encouraging them to embrace what has happened and yeah, continuing with their studies.
Okay. Indeed, it's a great opportunity, and we are so humbled to have all these discussions being recorded live, meaning even the ones who will watch in the future time will be able to refer to the same and learn from the same discussion that we have had today. One more last word is that, of course, indeed, young people have to join hands together and ensure that we have to build a better world with all we have. And it's our mandate to ensure that it becomes a reality. So allow me, um, uh, since we are already in the real time that we had agreed to close. So one more last word from each of you, beginning with yourself, Maria. Then we end with Heba. Yes, please.
It's not okay to just be pro or against gender-based violence. You have to stand up for the right thing. You have to speak out. It's okay, yes, to just say no, you're not for it, but you have to speak out. You have to tell people about it. You have to go out there and advocate, or even just use your social media to advocate against it. It's not just enough just saying it's not right. You have to tell people about it. They're creating awareness, but I think that's one thing we are all lacking. And people think that you have to be in a position of power for you to bring change, but you don't have to be. It just matters you telling that lady or that man going through this that it's not right and you can seek help in this and this place. That's already enough. You've already saved one life, and one life will save someone else and someone else. So I'll just tell anyone watching this, be the change you want to see, and you can make an impact wherever you are and in whatever position you are. Yeah, thank you.
Be the change you want to be in any way you would love to see it happen. Thank you very much, Maria. Yes, my mentor. The platform is now yours.
Thank you so much. I would say that you don't have to wait to be a victim of gender-based violence in order for you to move or to advocate for gender-based violence. You have to uh, be true with yourself, because if you were in that position, you will, speak out and fighting so hard in order to let people listen to you and to let people know about what is going on with you. So you don't have to wait to be a victim. Just feel for the victims and practice what you preach, because you cannot only invest in yourself and keep growing and keep evolving and lift all the people behind you. You have to let them evolve too in their own ways. Just enlighten them, just help them, give them the first move, and they will know and figure out how to move and how to do things in their own. But they have just the first push in order to them to evolve and to know what to do in their lives. So you have to practice what you preach. You have to support any person that comes on your path. Just give them a hand and let them do the rest. That's all.
Okay, my last end message is let us, all of us, everywhere we are, to increase on the CSR, community social responsibility, so that we respond to some of the cases that are raising up and also helping others realize their potential. Otherwise, it has been a great opportunity. I'm exceedingly humbled and very honored to have all of you being part of this. See you next time, and hope to be part of your webinars that you organize next time as we preside and discuss some of the paining issues or what has been made available that we can utilize and also disseminate to other members in our communities. I believe the community that we are building, we have to break the silence and build back together stronger. Okay. See you next time and good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.